This episode of Distraction is sponsored by Omega Bright CBD. Formulated by Omega Bright Wellness, creators of the #1 omega-3 supplements for the past 20 years. Omega Bright CBD, safe, third-party tested, and it works. Shop online at omegabrightwellness.com. Hello, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell, and welcome to Distraction. Today I have a very special guest indeed, a very, very, very special guest indeed. He is 15 years old. He comes from Japan, but he's visiting the United States right now. He has the wonderful condition that I have as well, called ADHD, a terrible name because it's not a deficit, it's not a disorder, it's a superpower. And believe me, this young man has superpowers, plural. His name is Akira, and he's kind enough to join us. We've become friends because of work he's done on his own, and I'll let him tell you why and what he's done, but it's pretty amazing. Typical of people who have the super creativity that people with ADHD tend to have, but I don't want to, tell you. I want Akira to tell you, but I can just say this is one extremely impressive young man, and he's bursting onto the scene. But Akira, welcome to Distraction.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Ned.
So tell the listeners what you've done, because it's pretty cool.
Basically, I had a dream from when I was about 12, 10, maybe even younger, to be able to share and explore with other people of this kind of a influencer type of lifestyle. I was born in Japan, and I was raised up by a pretty wealthy family, which allowed me to have multiple
opportunities.
Sorry?
Multiple opportunities or multiple
yes,
interests?
Opportunities, indeed. To basically explore. And it's very simple. It's like putting a camera right in front of your face while you're just living your daily life.
Mm. Now, you use the term influencer. What you'd like to be an influencer. Can you tell us what that means?
Well, it's like showing people your daily life, but also being able to share a path to other people where they can follow you.
Show them what you're doing with the idea that they will go and do likewise.
Yes, likewise, and also be able to learn from my experiences.
By the way, that noise you're hearing is a rain shower that's coming down on the skylight. So don't think we're suddenly having an avalanche here. It's just a little raindrops falling on our heads. And the idea that you'll share your personal life up close and personal with others in the idea of influencing them.
Yes. Well, I think of what I'm doing as not as a job or anything that takes hard. It does take. I've put a lot of effort into editing my videos, shooting content, and listening to what the viewers want, and trying to communicate with the viewers. But I think this to me is more like something I want to do, and I don't feel like it is a job or it's something that I should do, or I want to become famous out of it, or I want to make something out of it, but not to become famous or to share my lifestyle in a boasting way, but to be able to share my experiences. As I said, it's very complicated and interesting. It's a very weird feeling when I'm sharing my content in a very different way. Since I have ADHD, I can really shout at the camera, and it's very. A lot of people tell me, for what I do, and a lot of people can't talk the same way to the camera. They're shy, but I want to express myself, and that's what I feel what is important for me.
Having watched some of these, you really do come across with tremendous energy and vigor and vitality, and it's so genuine. You're clearly not trying to, put on a performance so much as just be a sort of a heightened version of who you already are.
Yes, of course. I always want to get that energy out.
Yeah.
In the ADHD world, it's hyperactive, active energy.
Yeah.
A lot of
Hyper
energy
energy is a good term.
And
hyper energy. Yeah.
always have a lot of energy, and being able to share that energy with other people and transforming it into a different way, it's absolutely incredible.
Yes, I mean you're channeling it, which is always the goal in ADHD. We have a lot of energy, but now you're channeling it into this creation that you've made. How many of them now? How many YouTube?
More than 10, probably. I think.
Yeah, and the point is, you've just started.
Like
you
12.
only started this a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I started it about 4 weeks ago. I shot my first video for my new channel. I've done a couple other things before, including like being on other people's channel.
Yeah.
And I think when I saw that video, when I was on this person named Karen Fu, it was an influencer in Singapore's channel, I saw that I had a lot of energy, and then I realized that I can really share that energy with other people, and which made me to like kind of have more of a reachable, realistic dream, and kind of get more of a bigger idea of what I want to do personally.
So she inspired you by when you saw yourself, you saw this part of you coming out that you didn't realize you had such presence, huh?
I don't think she inspired me. I think I inspired myself to become more of myself. Well, basically to like express myself. I was like, maybe I can really express myself in this way.
Yes. So seeing yourself inspired yourself. That's pretty cool. So, but I'm sure listeners are wondering, well, how do we get to see Akira in action? And let me just give you the website is lilbitalife.com. I'll spell that for you. LILBITALIFE.com. lilbitalife.com. And on the website, you can be redirected to the YouTube channel as well as Instagram. I love the way you described it. You said you saw yourself and you saw this energy that you had inside of you, and you wanted to find a medium where you could share that. And you're doing it, and you've only been doing it for 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. It's really hard to explain this energy, right? Of course.
Yeah.
I think you're one of the people who know this energy most in this big world, or it might be small world. It depends on how you can, you see the world. But I think you have the best idea of this energy, and for me, it was kind of like a click for to begin my passion type of thing.
It's so wonderful. I mean, one of the analogies I use is think of Niagara Falls, and that's ADD. But until you build a hydroelectric plant, it's just a lot of noise and mist. But when you build a hydroelectric plant, then you can light up the state of New York. And I think this has been for you. This is your hydroelectric plant. You can take the incredible Niagara Falls energy that you've got and turn it into beauty, turn it into art, turn it into a form that will influence someday, millions and millions of people. Because you've done this in only a few weeks, and at age 15, and you have this tremendous power that you're unleashing, so wonderfully well, and it's just going to grow and grow and grow. I'm so thrilled for you. I'm just going to say the website again, because I really hope listeners will go and see what I'm talking about. lilbitalife.com, LILBITALIFE.com, not case sensitive, lilbitalife.com. Okay, for the past 3 months, I've been taking a new supplement called Omega Bright CBD. And listeners know that Bright is spelled B-R-I-T-E. So it's Omega, B-R-I-T-E, CBD. As I've mentioned before, Omega Bright CBD was created by my good friend, Dr. Carol Locke, graduate of Harvard Medical School, and her company, Omega Bright Wellness. They've been making the #1 omega-3 supplements for the past 20 years. Well, Carol and her team decided to break new ground, having set the standard for purity, safety, and efficacy in the world of omega-3s, and they've brought that same commitment to excellence to their new CBD supplement. I take it myself. It helps me with my reactivity, my impatience. It kind of just puts a smoother edge. In no way is it a buzz or a high, anything like that. It's way more subtle. But it's a very noticeable, subtle effect, and one that I've come to really appreciate as I take it every day. So, all right, get Omega Bright CBD online at omegabrightwellness.com. And now Distraction listeners can save 20% on their first order by using the promo code podcast2020. That's podcast2020. Go to omegabrightwellness.com and order Omega Bright CBD. You'll be glad you did, just as I am. What else would you like to say to the listeners, Akira?
One thing I'm really grateful with ADHD is that it allowed me to have these incredible ideas that were just life-changing for me and helped me to grow in certain ways that a lot of people can't grow in.
Say more about that.
For the first part, I think ADHD really helps me because I can really be creative and think of like video content. If we're talking in the influencing world, video content, and even just in the moment that when we're recording, like it's just a spark that comes to me, and I know what to talk about. And it also helps me to hyper focus. And when I like sit down and edit my videos, I need to send this out online by tonight. It just helps me to hyper focus, and I just sit down and get to work, and takes me a couple hours, but would have taken me a couple days if I don't have that ADHD power within me.
And the deadline.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the deadline helps.
Yes, the deadline really does help because it allows me to like know when to do it, and so I can know what time, like the timing for me to hyper focus and really get into it.
And I love the way you said there's the spark, and then and your voice changed. You said, "I know what to say," and that's the magic. You know what to say. I mean, it just comes to you, and that's what's so wonderful about this condition when you learn how to manage it. And you're a great example of someone who's learning how to manage it so very, very well.
I love how you said manage it. I've seen a lot of people with ADHD who can't focus and who can't sit in a classroom and say, I learned this and this today, because they were so disfocused that they couldn't understand what the teacher was saying.
Right.
And I was that one kid who was sitting down playing with his hands and couldn't focus to what my teacher was saying. But I think why this content helps is because it's like a passion, as I said, and when I get to focus onto my passion, it's as I said, it's a spark.
And then it becomes a roaring fire.
A big roaring fire, for sure.
Oh, this is so. I hope the listeners are as smiling as broadly as I am, because it's like seeing the beginning of a life of genius, and you're going to bring us all along with you, Akira.
I think that this is definitely just the start for me. Yeah. And for me, what I believe in, my ideas are just out of the box, extraordinary, and very creative. And this is not me coming. It's not me who's telling me all this stuff to myself. It's other people who have told me that these ideas are creative. And I have to give a shout out and thanks to our team. And I think that really helped me to focus on what I need to do, and for me to, because sometimes people with ADHD can't understand certain things, and I think that's when my team really comes to help. And yeah, it's just unlimited ideas all around. And this wasn't just YouTube and influencing is not just one of my biggest ideas. I've had a couple other big ideas within, inside my mind, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to mention them or not?
Sure. I think this is one thing I think it was a great idea, is that back in Singapore, I started a car washing business. And I think this helped me to create my content with YouTube, is because this helped me learn how to advertise, promote, marketing, and also, mainly those, but how to hyperfocus and get that worth ethic going. And that was, I just washed cars, but I knew how to advertise, I knew how to market, and I knew what to do, which helped me raise about $6,000 in a week and a half, 2 weeks. It was absolutely incredible.
And this is, you're like 12 years old doing this?
Oh, no, I was, it was just a while back in this year when I was 14.
Yeah, 14. But you hadn't gone to business school, obviously. So you just figured out how to...
I haven't gone to business school, but I feel like I was always in a business school, especially because my dad was an investor, and I learned a lot from him, especially investing, business, and how to... Well, he wasn't that much of a marketer, but my brother was, and he also did really help me.
So your brother and your dad helped you?
Yeah, to get that business worth ethic and all this other stuff. That led to many different platforms and ideas.
Well, you're a born entrepreneur, as most people with ADHD are, and you'll be having ideas for the rest of your life. You mentioned at the beginning your family was wealthy, but you also had a fair number of hardships that we don't have to get into, but I want listeners to know you didn't have it easy. There was money, but there wasn't, other things that kids need, and you have continued to grow and develop, and you're very resilient. You're a brave young man, and you keep the ideas coming, and now you've got this new thing going. It's wonderful to see, but I respect you so much for having persevered and maintained your optimism.
Yeah. I just have to say, I've watched a couple of episodes from Distraction, and I think the listeners have to listen to what he's saying, because ADHD is not, as he said, a curse. It's like a superpower, something else. And I think a lot of people think of it as a curse, and that's when they are misled to ideas that are not helpful. And I think they should fight for their passion, and which can lead them to so many great things, because a lot of people with ADHD, I think, have great logic, and I just love how wonderful ways it can go, wonderful different ways life can take you with ADHD.
That's so wonderful the way you put it. I'm so glad to hear you know that at your age, 15, and help people not buy into the deficit disorder model. Yes, it presents challenges, but it also comes with extraordinary superpowers. And like we said, if once you learn to manage it, as Akira is doing, then you can light up the world, which be an influencer par excellence. Akira, we've come to the end of our time. I can't thank you enough for joining us, and your team that helped you join us. It's just I wish you could see me smiling right now. It's a huge smile, and I'm sure our listeners are smiling too. Just to remind you to go to Akira's website, littlebitalife.com, LILBITALIFE.com. and you can get directed there to the YouTube channel as well as to the Instagram. My friend Akira, thank you so much for joining me on Distraction.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure of mine.
Thank you.
Well, I think fight for your ADHD because it's really worth it.
It sure is. Thank you so much. Remember, listeners, to reach out to us with your questions, comments, and show ideas. We need them. We thrive on them. We love them. Love them. Love them. Email us, please, at connect@distractionpodcast.com. That's connect@distractionpodcast.com. Our wonderful guest today, Akira, my friend, 15 years old, but boy, oh boy, he is going to set the world on fire, developing the passion that his superpower, otherwise called ADHD, has given him. He's just at the start, and he's already so far ahead. It's a great gift you've shared with us. Distraction is created by Soundscrape Media. Our producer is the wonderful Sarah Guertin, and our recording engineer and editor is the brilliantly talented Scott Persson. This is Dr. Ned Hallowell saying goodbye for now from Distraction. The episode you just heard was sponsored by Omega Bright CBD, formulated by Omega Bright Wellness, creators of the #1 omega-3 supplements for the past 20 years. Omega Bright CBD, safe, third-party tested, and it works. Shop online at omegabrightwellness.com.